And maybe baby. Well,
Hello and welcome to Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Today we have a very interesting game between Gujarat and Punjab. Both of them will be looking for their third win. I just want to get to the point. Which team has the slight upper hand? And Niall, oh, your shades are off. Niall, I'm going to start with you. Which team do you think will... Oh, they're back on. Which team do you think will have the upper hand between both of them?
I guess you're on
We
mute.
can't hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, it's the sunglasses. They affected my whole outlook on life there. Well, if we look at the teams, Gujarat have obviously had a 4-day break. So when you come into competition, especially a new team, get off to such a high flying start, and then get a chance just to sit back and reflect, I think they'll be pretty happy, going nicely. And Punjab on the other side have played pretty good cricket, and there's quite a good a feel-good factor about Punjab this season, probably first time in a very long time. So I think both sides will be pretty confident, pretty happy, and looking forward to the game. There's not much between the two teams. I think the Gujarat side have a lot of swagger. They've got Hardik with all his bling and all his all his charisma. Rashid Khan alongside him, and then you've got the hard hitters like Punjab, who are probably the showstoppers this season. They are the team that may entertain us the most. So it should be a nice contest. Both sides will be pretty aggressive, I think.
Steve, what would you like to say and add?
Well, for me, I think it's, I guess, as of now, the best batting side against the best bowling side. So it's going to be very, very interesting from that perspective. I mean, obviously, Kings batting, they have a different approach this season. They also have the kind of batting lineup to kind of back that explosive kind of a mindset that they have. And on the other side, you've got the Titans, who've got, I guess, they've got at least 4 bowlers who bowls 140 plus, and Rashid Khan. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there.
And incisive bowling, from Gujarat, they've restricted their opposition to 160 both the times. Deep. So what would that mean?
That would mean, obviously, the whole mindset is very attacking as far as both these franchises go. I mean, Punjab with their batting and Gujarat with their bowling. And also the fact that today the game's at Brabant, where obviously a high scoring venue, the highest amongst all the 4 venues so far. And but the pitch itself has a lot of bounce and carry. So that might help. And listen, they've been in good wicket taking form. And that's important, as you mentioned, wicket taking, because on surfaces like these and venues like these, you can't restrict the opposition. You've got to get them out. If you want to restrict, you've got to get them out. And Gujarat bowling lineup have enough wicket taking bowlers, attacking wicket taking bowlers to actually stop Punjab.
Yeah, and Niall, 2 out of 3 wins for Punjab. That's been a great progression for them so far. Like he said, one team's great at bowling, the other one's great at batting. So how do you think they're going to be coming into this game? Because I'd say equal at the moment.
Yeah, there's not much between them, but Punjab also have some pretty good bowlers. When you got the like of the Rabada, etc. Beat Bangalore, lost to Kolkata, beating Chennai quite convincingly. I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think if you would have given Anil Kumble and the owners and the backroom staff 2 wins from the first 3 with a pretty fresh new look side, I think they would have taken that. So I think both sides, their confidence will both be very high. And as he rightly points out, it's a good surface, so it should be a high octane game. It's just whether, I suppose, Punjab, at the moment they're smashing obviously the power play, etc. How hard they go, and will that present opportunities for a very, very skillful bowling attack in Gujarat? Because it's rather good. If you have an off day, and when you're going hard, and all of a sudden you find yourself 3 or 4 down when you have a bit of an off day. So that's what Gujarat bowlers will be, I suppose, prying on. For Punjab, I would just I would think it's more the same. Just do what you're doing. They seem to be playing good cricket, and
Yeah.
it's working so far. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, noted. Does Bairstow get a look in Deep?
Uh, well, to be honest, I mean, he can come in place of, I guess, Rajapaksa, who's done exceedingly well. Well, only last game, obviously, there was a run out there. He didn't get too many
Yeah.
runs. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, he can. I mean, he's one of the best going around in world cricket, especially this format. So, yes, but the big question is, who do you drop? Liam Livingston played a blinder last game here at Brabant. Rajapaksa, apart from the last game, and even in last game, he just looks so destructive. So it's a tough call. It's an extremely tough call. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll I guess have to wait and see what happens.
Niall, what would your thoughts be on this?
Well, I think he has to play. You spend all that money on. It's not as if you're spending your money on a bloke that hasn't done it before. It's not on a. You haven't spent all that money on a bloke on a whim. He's done it for three seasons with Sunrisers, averages over 40, strike rate over 140. So it's whether he plays a Rajapaksa. I've seen some murmurings that maybe Odean Smith might not play, but I think that leaves them light with the ball. I think they need Odean Smith to bowl. So I think Rajapaksa might miss out. It's a tough call, but there's no reason why Bairstow won't come in and play as aggressively. He'll play differently than Rajapaksa. He probably won't go so gung-ho. But what Bairstow does do when he gets in and when he gets a start, he carries on, he scores big scores. And that's something that Rajapaksa hasn't done. That's not taking anything away from Rajapaksa. He's played 2 blinding knocks that has got his teams off to absolute flyers that have got him ahead of the game. It's a tough call, but I think it's a call that will probably the Sri Lankan may miss out.
Yeah, let's talk about Shubman Gill. Entering his prime years now, so to speak, having seen a few setbacks and also success in at international level. Deep. Let's talk about Gill because that's somebody that we've got a lot of tweets about as well.
Listen, obviously he's extremely talented. Obviously, he missed out last year or so because of injuries and fitness issues. He's looked extremely good in the last game. It's just that, obviously he's very, very good against spin. There's absolutely no two ways. He's brilliant against spin. It's just that the first few overs, he has to kind of manage how he plays the quicker bowlers. I mean, his numbers in last 10 matches in the league, uh, I mean, they are really good. Average around 37, which is nice, and a strike rate of 125, which is kind of mid-table. But obviously, he's a better player than that as far as strike rate is concerned. But my only concern at times with Shubman is because of his technique, not of the deficiency, but his game plan. He's very good against anything which is back of length or short, but anything which is fuller, uh, he can get into trouble. And that's where I think the opposition can target him, with foolish deliveries and not back of length.
Yeah, he's a very attractive batsman.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about Matt Agarwal as well, having technical flaws that have creeped in his batting lately. Cause of concern, Niall?
I wouldn't necessarily think so. There's been a bit of chat maybe his technique has taken a bit of a hit. I wouldn't necessarily say so. He's a highly skilled cricketer. There's no reason why he's not gonna come good anytime soon. So I don't think there's any issue. I think sometimes in the media we can overanalyze, and I think something like Agarwal, sometimes you're looking for something that's not quite there. And I think as a batter, going back to myself as a batter, you just gotta, push out that external noise because it can creep into your kind of game plan, into your kind of your mindset. But I think he's gonna be fine.
Okay, let's take a look.
Karishma, can I just add to that? Yeah, sorry, just to add to what Niall just mentioned. Yes, I think just few games, and I don't want to get into the technique side of things, but I think what might be happening here is Punjab is trying to play at a certain tempo, right, which is like fast attacking cricket from ball one. And I think that's where Mayank is trying to find his own tempo to kind of match up with what the team plans are. I think he's trying to be a little too aggressive, and what he has to figure out is what works for him, right? So far it just seems like he's in a bit of a hurry. He's got to realize that when he bats normally he scores at 140, which should be fine, which should be good enough. But I think just just get a feeling from the outside that he's trying to do something different and trying to be a little more aggressive than what needs to be at times, I guess. So I think that's where he needs to just figure out the right tempo for him.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take a look at the numbers, try to see what are. So a key area for Punjab this season, if you can take a look at it. There we go, Niall. If you can take a look at the firing away power play.
Absolutely, yeah, dominating the power play, and no surprise really when you've got the likes of their top order playing the way they play. They're just playing with the freedom. The coaches obviously giving them massive license to go out, and that's what you need. Get yourself ahead of the game in the power play. You know, average of 65 is remarkable, really. And losing 1.7, you accept that. Anything under 2 wickets, you accept. But you need those good starts because on these pitches, the pitches are so good. You need a good start, and you need a good middle and a good end. So it's very important that you get off to a good start. And you know, it's a difficult one because you don't want to lose 3 wickets, but at the same time, you don't want to be 40 for 1. So I think that's why they've had a good start. That's why they're playing nicely and they're getting themselves ahead of the game.
Yeah,
and I think the whole approach. Sorry, Krishna. I think the whole approach that I mentioned, I mean, just to be more attacking and aggressive from ball 1, I think in that case, there are days where you're going to chase down 205 and there'll be days where you don't even get to 140 because, I mean, that's the trade-off there, right? So I think what they want to do is play that brand of cricket. And I think, chances are, and they have the resources to play that brand of cricket. I think that's what they're trying to do here. And in that case, if you even lose a couple of wickets, it's all right because then you're using all your batting resources. You're using the depth of your batting because they bat down till number 9. Till number 9, they have decent batters, who can, get bat on ball. So I'm not surprised at all. But like I said, there'll be days they'll get out for 130, but so be it. But as long as they have a game plan in place and everyone buys into it, that should be fine. I think the biggest example is the English T20 side.
Yeah, well, like you were mentioning earlier, Gujarat is the best when it comes to the ball and power play. So how did they come up against Gujarat? What would their strategy be?
Right. For me, I think the idea for the Punjab top order would still be the same. I mean, you don't want to change it. Even though Gujarat bowlers are right up there, they're one of the most attacking bowling units going around in this competition as of now, and all of them are kind of 140 plus. I think Hardik opening with the ball last game was a very good idea because he also gets the ball to swing around a bit, and obviously he's bowling very decent pace. He's bowling that almost 140 on an average. But yeah, I mean, from Punjab point of view, yes, you've got to be a little watchful, but then you don't want to lose or go away from the game plan that you've kind of are doing well with. They're 2-3, so it's working for them. And the other thing is trying to put the opposition under pressure. I mean, suddenly they're 20 in 2 overs or 30 in 2 overs. Suddenly, as good as the opposition bowlers may be, they'll be under pressure.
Yep. Well, Niall, your wish has been fulfilled. If you can see at the bottom, Johnny Bairstow made his debut. You should say more things.
Well, he's a class act. Yeah, I'm happy. He's a class act, and he's a destructive batter on his day in a different way. But he plays well off, through the offside. He's a brilliant player of the pull shot. So even when he comes up against high pace, he's a good player of the short ball, and he's an excellent player against spin. So he's a pretty complete batter, I would say, in white ball cricket. His confidence is high. He's got a couple of Test match hundreds of late, and also he's the kind of batter that likes to make an impression. So he's at a new franchise now, and he'll be loved to make an instant mark. And playing under Anil Kumble, he will absolutely love that. He feeds off kind of, we call them legends of the game, people who've got a lot of history in the game. Bairstow will be feeding off that. So saying that, I've tipped loads of players recently in these matches who've come in for their first game to have a big impact, and they've all had an absolute shocker. So I hope I'm wrong today. I hope he has a good game today.
Well, let's take a look at your fantasy tracker that you have selected yourself. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the teams, Niall. This is your team.
Yeah, Shikhar up front. He'll just kind of try and bat 12, 13 overs for me, get 40 or 50. Just go about his business the way he does. Shubman Gill, obviously in form. Rajapaksa, Livingston, left hand, right hand at 4 and 5, giving me good power. And then Hardik as the all rounder. And Sharma I thought was impressive a couple of games ago. My finisher is Tuatia. And then I love, Mohammed Shami, and I've obviously got the pace of Lockie Ferguson. So it's a lovely team, and I had to have Shami and Ferguson, Lockie Ferguson together. I just think they're a lovely match. They're a match made in heaven, in a Gujarat heaven.
They're a match made in Gujarat heaven. How does one respond to this, Deep? They're a match made in Gujarat heaven, spoken by the man himself.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure that out soon enough. Won't be how things go here, but this is actually an acid test for both Gujarat and Punjab, because I think, as I mentioned, I mean, their stronger suits is kind of a different ends of the spectrum. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, and well, it's toss time, and that's going to play a big role as well.
Yeah. So the toss is going to happen right now. I think we're going to get the update. One more update.
Yeah. There you go.
So at the bottom, Darshan and Darshan Nakalkande make their debut for Gujarat. So that's Deep. I think you would know them more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, Nalkande is obviously a seamer from Maharashtra. He's played a few first class, but he's more of a white ball specialist. He's a seam bowler from Maharashtra, wicket taking bowler. So that's good. I think Varun Aaron is kind of injured. So I think obviously that niggle or whatever. But he's not the quickest, but yeah, he does get the ball to swing around a bit. Sai Kishore is from. Sai Sudarshan, sorry, not Sai Kishore. Sai Sudarshan is from Tamil Nadu. He's a leggy, so that's going to be interesting. Haven't seen much of him, but yeah, I mean, generally, guys from Tamil Nadu, they play a lot of white ball cricket because they also have their local T20 tournament as well. So generally, they've played a lot of. I mean, all these guys from Tamil Nadu have played a lot of T20 cricket, so they have a lot of experience doing that.
Yeah. Okay, the toss update on the toss and then go to bowl. Niall, I want to talk about that, and also
I didn't quite hear the second bit of the question, but
talk a bit about Lockie Ferguson.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Well, first of all, choosing the bowl, no surprise there really. Everyone wants to bowl first. It's a belting pitch. It's a small ground, so you're saying to the opposition, you have to get a mammoth score to win this game. So straight away, you're putting the opposition under pressure because you're thinking as a batting unit, batting first, right, we need to get a huge score. It may not always work out that way, but there is a little bit of an added bit of pressure when you have to bat first on a good venue with a small boundary. Lockie Ferguson, what can I say? He wins the speed award every match. He bowls the fastest ball every game. He walks away with about 5 checks every match. Bowls 150. Aggressive, he's got good skills, whether he bowls across seam or slower balls, and he's a genuine wicket take. I think we've said it before. When you've got someone that can bowl 150 as a batter, you're a little bit slower, you're a little bit tentative. First of all, to get on the front foot, but then also if he comes full, he's gonna undo you with the Yorker. But it's his bouncer and his slower balls actually that are proving very, very effective because one, he's rushing you for pace, or else you can't quite get the timing because he's disguising a slower ball. And that's what happens when you got raw pace. You create doubt in a batter's mind.
Yeah, I mean, Gujarat have been using him in the middle and the late part of the overs, and that seems to be working, right, Deep?
Yeah, I mean, I remember he played for Kolkata, and that almost the same way. I mean, he was used the same way, maybe 1 over in the first 6 and then the middle and the end. Because obviously the other important thing is, as quick as he is, he's also extremely accurate. and that's another huge thing. I mean, somebody bowling at 150 and being accurate, it's very difficult to kind of get away with it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best way, and also it boils down to the other bowlers that you have, with Hardik now
Yeah.
bowling with a new ball. That's a huge advantage. Mohammad Shami, he's improved his death over bowling for sure. He's very good in the death, but ideally speaking, he's a wicket taker, and with a new ball as well, right? With his seam position and what he can extract out of any pitch. So you would want predominantly Hardik and Mohammad Shami to bowl with a new. So automatically that would mean Lockie. You have that luxury of using him in the middle overs, which is, again, I mean, generally you have a lot of the middle order batters who are very comfortable against spin, but you have suddenly someone like Lockie coming and bowling a couple of overs in the middle. That's not easy for middle order batters.
Absolutely. There are some changes in both the teams, which is just here right at the bottom. My producer just told me one of them. Rajapaksa, he misses out today in today's game. Niall, he won't be playing today. Would you like to talk about that?
Well, yeah, obviously we thought that might be the case, with the overseas, with Bairstow coming in. It's a tough call, but it's probably one that, the coaching staff, they've got no choice really. You got to bring Bairstow in. He's a proven match winner. He's proven in this tournament. But Rajapaksa can be pretty proud of his input to date. And actually, I reckon Punjab are pretty happy with the purchase of Rajapaksa. They probably saw him as somebody they'd bring in as a bit of a stopgap, but now they've got someone that they know they can rely on later in the tournament to come in and do a job. So actually, it's a thumbs up really for Punjab and the player itself. But you got to bring Bairstow in. He's too good a player not to play.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at the social tracker, shall we? Let's see what's going on in the social world. Let's take a look at the tweets. Hardik Pandya needs one more six to complete 100 sixes in his IPL history. Next. A side which the Punjab batsman will not be relishing.
Wow.
Very good.
Look at that strike rate, 13.33.
That's it. Yeah. And then we have one more. This one's quite an interesting one. A thin line between, I guess, I didn't actually find this funny. It was quite interesting. I think I'll let you both gentlemen read this. This is something that Yuzvinder has just said right now.
Right. Yeah.
So we're not going to discuss it too much, but I guess there's a fine line between fun and games. And now next, what are we taking a look at? Let's talk about going back into the past, which we sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's not such a good thing. The theme here is top three batsmen. If you could go back in time and teleport three batsmen, one from each, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, for you, the top three T20s, who would you pick and why? Go on, Niall. I'm dying to hear about
lovely.
Three picks.
I would have loved a bit of warning about this question. I'll go for David Gower. Because anybody who watches this show know I'm so biased towards left-handers. So I've got David Gower. He played in the 70s. I think he made his test debut in 1978. But I think he would have been a good all-format cricketer, very elegant, free-scoring batter. And actually, he would have fitted the T20 era, the glitz, the glamour of the T20 era. So I've got DG Gower to bat number one. I've got Brian Lara from the West Indies in the 90s. From the 90s, and from the 80s, I've got Sir Vivian Richards. So, I've got two lefties, one righty. So David Gower from the 70s, Sir Viv from the 80s, just flicking the ball off his thigh pad, chewing the chewing gum. That Slazenger bat that he had. I think it was a V500. And I've got BC Lara, the great man from the 90s.
Silk swagger is how I will describe your three choices.
Obviously, I'd start from the 90s. I wouldn't take Sachin's name because he's already played this tournament. So Apart from Sachin, yes, Brian Lara, without a shadow of doubt, someone who
You're
hasn't
not
played.
allowed. You're not allowed to pick my players. They're
Oh,
playing,
is that so? No, no, no.
they're
That's
my
not.
team.
Quick
They're my team.
Okay, all right, all right. Does it have to be a batter then, or can I pick a bowler? Come on, then at least give me that.
You can have a bowler. You can have a bowler.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with Wasim Akram in the night from the
Okay,
90s. Yeah.
cool.
So Wasim Bhai from the 90s, 80s, I'm gonna pick Kapil Paji. And from the 70s, I'm gonna pick I'm actually gonna pick Viv Richards. I can't go for, right? Jeez. I'm actually gonna go with Sunil Gavaskar. I'm sure if he
Okay.
had, yeah, because a lot of people don't know. I mean, he changed his game. I mean, he made his debut in 71, but he changed his game by 74, 75 to suit the
Yeah.
Indian team. He was actually first 2, 3 years, he was a very free flowing stroke player kind of a batter. But then he had to change for whatever the team required. So yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you know what? For me, greats of any generation would be a great in any generation. I mean, irrespective, I'm sure he would have adapted to this, and yeah, would have loved to see him.
Yeah.
Can we have a poll for the post
I
match?
don't think it's
Can we have a poll
though.
after the match? Can we have a post match poll from everyone out there? Whose three they preferred? Niall's 11.
Yeah.
Niall's Deep's three. Please, can we
All
get
right
that?
then. All right then.
Please do use. I mean, before I let you both go, let's take a look at the poll quickly. And has Hardik Pandya impressed you with his captaincy so far? 81% people have said
Yeah.
19%, which is
Yeah,
very
he's been very good. He's been very, very good. You know, there was a lot of question marks. You know, he hasn't captained
Yeah.
a great deal coming into the tournament. How will he manage his workload? Will he be able to bowl? Will he bat? Where is he going to bat? New franchise. I think he's taken it all in his stride. Not surprising, really. He's a pretty cool customer. From what I see from outside, I don't know him personally, but from what I see from his demeanor, he's a very confident chap. So he's taken the captaincy like a duck to water. It's helped his team have backed him up. You know, you're as a captain, you're only your team. So his team have played nicely so far, and Hardik has done well. You know, he's hardly put a foot wrong. The only thing he's done wrong, I reckon, he's dived over 2 balls at mid-on, let through 2 forward under his arms. So hopefully there'll be none of those missed fields tonight, Hardik.
Yeah.
Do you think more from your losses or your victories as a captain, or both?
I guess both. Obviously, losses. I mean, it depends on your mindset. Losses obviously don't help, especially for new captains when you're just starting off. What has helped Gujarat is the fact that they've started with 2 wins. That just changes a lot of things, you know. I mean, because one of the biggest challenges in a tournament like this, where you have people coming from different parts of the world and states, is gelling together. You win 2 games, suddenly everything's nice, and you know everyone's gelling with everyone, no problems. And I think that makes a huge difference when you start on a winning note. And I think that's what has happened to a great extent. But having said that, I'll completely second Niall on that. And also, a lot of people have this wrong idea of Hardik. Yes, he's fun-loving. He's an extrovert. He likes being out there, but he also has a really good cricketing mind. His cricketing IQ is right up there with the best going around in the world. So as fun loving as he looks, but he's got a really good cricket thinking mind inside as well. And I think he's got this platform to showcase that, and he's doing a great job of it.
Does that mean both of you are rooting for Gujarat because your host is also Gujarati? Am I seeing that you both are shifting like Gujarat?
Do we have a choice,
Right?
Karishma? Do we have a choice, Heaven?
But I'm the host. Gujarat is playing. No, but go on. I'll let you say which team you are rooting for, which team you think will have.
I'll go for Punjab just to upset you.
Ooh.
I'm constantly upsetting. I'm constantly upsetting women in my life. So why change? Why change now?
A lot. No, I'm gonna be with you. Don't worry. I mean, I think Gujarat. I mean, especially now that they've won the toss as well. Yeah, makes more of. Listen, I always think the better bowling side wins. no matter how good you are with your batting unit. But good bowling units will always trump over good batting sides, and I think it's going to be Titans. And obviously, they won the toss too.
Well, the gentlemen have spoken. We will be back at the end of the game to see which team has won. Thank you for having us and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sky, for 247.net presents Not Just Cricket. We will see all of you shortly. And that was a tongue twister. Take care. Bye.